Hi, my name is Samin and I'm the Fundraising Outreach Coordinator for this year.
And my name is Brandon. I'm the Fundraising Development Coordinator for this year.
We're just going to go through a little bit about fundraising this year and some different opportunities. So in this presentation, we're going to be covering alternative fundraisers, donation boxes, canvassing, a little bit about collaboration, donor drive, a little on travel and break fundraising, as well as the Fundraising 2020 timeline. So we'll begin with alternative fundraisers. So an alternative fundraiser includes any fundraiser that is not a donation box, canvassing, envelopes, or donor drive. Alt funds are registered and approved on Think. Good examples of alt funds include date auctions, restaurant fundraisers, merchandise sales, Yankee Candle fundraisers, and really anything that doesn't fall into one of the categories I mentioned before. One thing to note is that Yankee Candle fundraisers are pre-approved. This means that you don't need to submit them on Think. Rather, you can do the fundraising for them and then submit your money in 2-week increments to the THON office. So if you're interested in seeing a walkthrough of the alternative fundraiser submission process, you can find videos for that available on Think. So here's just a list of some profitable alt funds that have been successful for people in the past. This list includes item sales, jewelry sales, pizza sales, car washes, car smashes, any kind of food sale like grilled cheese, queso, or barbecue, date auctions, dance classes, karaoke, face painting, and bake sales. So the fundraising timeline can be found on Think under Documents, and it'll also be distributed to you by your liaisons. This timeline essentially just has a breakdown of the entire year and all important fundraising dates, including things like workshops, distribution deadlines, recollections, pretty much anything that is pertaining to fundraising you can find on this timeline. It's a really great resource for organizations to reference because you can kind of get an idea of what's coming up in the world of fundraising and just keep track of things that way. So just a little bit on collaboration. So we rarely recommend collaborating with other organizations if you think that's something your organization is interested in. So this could include the organizations that you might already be paired with, or it could be completely new organizations. So working with other organizations on fundraising projects is both a really great idea, a really great way to both try out new ideas and maybe things that you, for example, might need more manpower for, but also just a great way to get involved and meet new people. Your liaisons will provide you with a resource on collaborative fundraising that includes tips, how to get started, best practices, and also a form in case you're an organization that has an idea and you would like to work with someone but aren't sure who. We can help facilitate a process where you can kind of begin to work with another organization on a collaborative project. This is not the same as an organization pairing, so it would just be for that particular fundraising project.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about donation boxes and some of the logistics with it. So donation boxes can be placed at any store or business that's consistent with THON's mission. So you want to stay away from businesses that sell alcohol like bars, tanning salons, or hospitals. And that's something we're going to look at when we are reviewing your request. So just like alternative fundraisers, you're going to register your donation box online at Think. You're going to be able to pick it up at a distribution, and then you're going to place it and then return it during the recollection date. And on the top of the donation box request, there's going to be a YouTube video that walks you through step by step on what we're looking for and to avoid some common mistakes that we see. These are some of the distribution dates that we have for donation boxes. There's going to be one every single month leading up until winter break. And if you are unable to make one of those dates, you can contact me at fundraising.development@thon.org, or you can get in contact with the liaison, and we can set up a time for you to pick up your donation boxes. So each of those distributions, you have to submit your request the Sunday before at 11:59 in order to get it for that distribution. So if you submit it after that deadline, it's going to get bumped down to the next distribution.
If you are participating from a Commonwealth campus, you can also reach out either to Brandon at fundraising.development@thon.org or your direct liaison, Allie, and she can help facilitate the process of you setting up a different time to come either pick up your donation boxes or for the recollection process, which we'll get into in the next slide.
So these are a list of the recollection dates that we're going to have when we get back in the spring semester in the beginning of January, and then the last one being in the first week in February. So when you submit your request on Think for donation boxes, you're going to pick the end date that falls in line with one of these recollection times and dates. And then we know you're coming from a Commonwealth, so it makes it harder for you guys to come up to University Park to drop them off. So you can get in contact with us if some of these time frames don't work. Like I said, you can contact Fundraising Development at THON.org and we can set that up. And before you bring your boxes, it's important to fill out the post fundraising reports for your donation boxes, and then when you bring them in, it's all set to go.
So next we're going to talk a little bit about canvassing. So canvassing is simply door-to-door solicitation for THON. Canvassing trips allow us to share the mission of THON with more people, ask for donations, and hear stories from those that we meet as we're going through this process. Just a reminder that canvassing endeavors must be registered on Think, and that you should always canvass in pairs, so never go canvassing by yourself, and always take your Penn State ID with you. All canvassing trips and anything surrounding canvassing should be compliant with the THON 2020 travel rules, as well as the other THON rules that can be found in the 2020 rulebook under the canvassing section. So now we're going to discuss a little bit about travel as well as the break fundraising opportunities.
So with the new travel rules, there's 2 Penn State mandated breaks that we allow students to travel to their hometown and fundraise around their hometown. So those 2 date ranges are going to be Thanksgiving break and then winter break. So during those times, you do any type of fundraiser that is around your town that you think would be good, as opposed to a normal weekend, you are not allowed to travel home. For University Park students, they can only travel within a 15-mile radius away from Old Main, but because you guys are a Commonwealth, we expand that radius from that campus, and it's also to your home address. So you can travel 15 miles outside your home address. So it makes it easier for students that are commuting at Commonwealth campuses.
The addresses for Commonwealths can also be found in the rulebook that we're referencing in terms of the address for your particular campus that you are permitted to go within the 15 miles of. Okay, so now just a little bit about online fundraising and donor drive. So these are just some frequently asked questions on Donor Drive. If you have any particular questions, always feel free to contact online.giving@thon.org. Those are our online giving captains, and they can help you through any issues or questions that you're having with Donor Drive or just the general setup process. So one FAQ is, how can I request a page for my organization? The Donor Drive request form can be found under the request tabs in Think. Please make sure to read and fill out the fundraising guidelines and agreements that are attached to this form. So the other question is, how can my organization members create participant pages for themselves? So a link can be found on your THON dashboard that you can send to your org members that allows them to create their own pages. We ask that you please do not add your members into Donor Drive using the Add Participants button. This will be considered forced fundraising and is prohibited by the THON 2020 rulebook. So please just make sure if you do want participants to join or organization members to join and create their own pages, you're sending them the link that's found on the THON dashboard. So just some other things, be sure to personalize your Donor Drive pages. Customized pages raise up to 541% more than the average donation page, which is a really significant statistic. So we recommend doing any kind of like stories from THON, any pictures you have, videos, anything really about your organization is awesome for this. Also, ask your parents and close family to make initial donations to your page. This is just a way to get the ball rolling pretty immediately, and people are more inclined to donate to a cause that's already showing signs of success. Another thing we recommend is setting achievable fundraising goals. You can always increase your goal once you've reached your current one. In fact, we recommend that you do. This is just to make sure that you're kind of setting an achievable goal for yourself as you kind of begin this fundraising process. So again, like I mentioned, sharing any kind of story, images, or text, videos that you have, really anything is a great way to customize your page. And lastly, we recommend you share your page via your social media, so like Facebook and Twitter. You're twice as likely to raise more by using social media accounts to kind of disseminate your Donor Drive page. So that's a really easy way just to get the word out. And if you have any questions about any of this, feel free to contact online.giving@thon.org. So now we're just going to talk a little bit about the 5K, the THON 5K presented by PNC. So the THON 5K is one of the largest races in Central PA with over 4,000 runners and participants every year. Kicking off the THON fundraising season, this day includes a kids race, a fun run and walk, games, a family speaker, music, food, and more. It's a great opportunity to spend the day with your Paired for Diamonds family along with the rest of the THON community. The 5K takes place on the BJC lawn on October 13th. Registration is $15, all of which is credible directly to an organization. Online registration can be found on the THON store or through the THON 5K webpage on thon.org. Day of registration begins at 8 a.m. and the race begins at 11:30. So this year, again, we also have the virtual 5K. So these are pre-made courses that allow you or alumni, anybody in your family, to participate in the 5K from afar. And this year, the virtual 5K will be a crediting opportunity. So the cost of registering for that can now be credited to your organization. And it's also just a great way to get your alumni involved. Please make sure to go to thon.org to help answer any questions you might have about the 5K, and always feel free to reach out to the 5K captains at thon.5k@thon.org.
Okay, so next we're going to just talk about the Dream Forward campaign. So that's going to kick off October 13th, right after the THON 5K, and that runs all the way until October 29th with a celebration in the hub that ends the Dream Forward campaign. So for every $500 raised, a ticket can be entered into the lottery for the following credited funds. The first three organizations will be chosen to win up to $7,500, and then $5,000, and then $2,500. And then there's going to be 10 extra tickets will be chosen to win up to $1,000 each. And there's also going to be another fundraising workshop on October 8th, and this will be solely focused on this campaign.
Thank you guys so much for everything that you do for THON. If you have any questions at all about this presentation or just anything fundraising related, always feel free to reach out to either your liaison, me at fundraising.outreach@thon.org, Brandon at fundraising.development@thon.org, or Becca, our fundraising safety director, at fundraising.safety@thon.org. Thank you.